Welcome back to the Vegans Who Lift podcast. We are your favorite vegans. I am Brooke, otherwise known as Miss Meatless Muscle, and I am here with John Thomas, the Bodybuilding Vegan. What is up, John?
What's up, dude? I know when I bring us in, sometimes I forget who I'm talking about, including myself. So I'll read our names on the screen. So I just want to say shout out to Sean. Thank you for doing that because
Who
sometimes
am
I'm
I?
halfway. Who am I? What am I doing today? Anyways, thank you. I'm doing good. I'm excited to talk about today. I think tons of value. We're going to talk about supplements because Lord knows if you're a vegan, you're like sick, dying, nearly dead. Maybe you're dead and still listening to this, and it's because you didn't take your B12. That's exactly what it is, because everybody knows vegans are deficient in every vitamin under the sun.
Love
Gosh,
that.
there's probably somebody out there that thinks I'm dead serious.
Oh
And
yeah.
being
I just
sarcastic, but
talked I just talked to a guy at the gym the other day. He wanted to talk to me because I had a Wolfpack backpack that somebody bought me for Christmas that has NPC competitor on it. So he started talking to me because he's also a competitor. And I somehow mentioned I was vegan or something. And he was like, "Oh, you're vegan? You must have to take a ton of supplements because you don't get anything that you need from your food." And I'm like, "Actually, no."
actually the other way around.
Right. And
Yeah.
like a lot of the there are some supplements but very few supplements that really people need to take or else they might have some health issues, but I know you and we like supplements for optimization because we're trying to take our training and our health and our nutrition to the next level. So, if you guys listen to this and you're like, "Oh, that sounds like a lot. Maybe it's not something that you want to invest in." You don't have to, but these are things that can really optimize your health and help your training, your performance, and take it to the next level. I love supplements. I mean,
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to get fucking huge. I'm gonna take anything I can. Uh, but I think you hit a good point. Like, we start with the health ones. That whenever I list them out to a client, it's in order of most important to least important. So you know what's at the bottom that shocks some people? Pre-workout. It's
oh
kind of at
yeah.
the bottom of the list. I want you taking other things first because I care about your health more than I care about your gains. Sort of,
Yes.
mostly. I mean, most people come to me for the gain side. They're not coming like, "Hey, I want you to get me healthy," but like, can't get huge if you're not healthy, unless you're fat. Then we're not really applying to that. I'm talking about huge and healthy and muscular. Um, I make myself laugh. I hope I make somebody else laugh. Otherwise, this is just for
Hopefully.
me. Oh, um, yeah, I'm good to just dive on in if you want. We can kind of ping pong back and
Yeah.
forth.
I'm
Starting,
sure we'll have some overlapping ones so we can just, adjust accordingly.
let's start with health. I will kick us off because this is how I kick it off with everybody. If you're vegan or not, number one supplement that you probably need to take, I bet Brooke already knows, but vitamin D.
Yep.
Um, More people are deficient in vitamin D than probably any other vitamin on the planet. I've personally seen this with blood work from over 100 people, whether it's clients, friends, family members, vegans, not. If I've had guys that are like, "Dude, I know my D3 is fine. I work in the sun all day. I usually don't wear a shirt." Nope, still low, still below optimal. I actually just had someone. I'm not going to say names because this is like client information, but I can keep it um, vague. She came back in on the green scale, because most doctors just interpret your blood work as you're in the green or you're not. She tested at 31, and the reference range is 30 to 100. So technically, she's in the green, but we can do so much better than that. I try to get people around 60. I forget the digits, the numbers, but like on that reference range of 30 to 100, getting up to around mid 60s is like my version of ideal or optimal. So what that might look like for most of my women clients, I start them at 5,000 IU vitamin D3 per day. Men, I'll usually do about double, and then if they're willing, 3 to 6 months in, we'll pull bloods and see where they're at. Most people don't come back in the green on the reference range if they're not already supplementing. It's just vegan or not. That's what I've seen. Why D? Yeah, I should probably talk about why. Bone health, mental health, overall feelings of happiness, and mental outlook on life. I think it even possibly plays more into brain health. But yeah, like it just for health. That's why we take vitamin D. So I've
Yeah.
ranted, but you feel free to add on top of that.
Yeah, that 100% everything you just said, like that's one that you gotta have, guys. And yes, I would not just rely on, well, I spend X amount of time in the sun, because it's not really always about that. It's about how your body's converting it. Um,
Mhm.
and it's easy and it's actually one of the cheaper supplements. So yeah, buy it, take it, do it.
Do it. Yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. A lot of people are like, I do spend plenty of time in the sun, but you absorb it less in the sun the darker your skin is. So if you're
Yep.
black, you're already screwed. And if you're super duper pale white, how long can you spend in the sun before you burn?
Yep.
So it's like for who either side of the argument, it's one that you kind of have to supplement with. I tell this to children, to adults, to elderly people, like everybody. Um, and then you know what, let's do this as well. Might as well plug ourselves. I work with True Nutrition. I'm sponsored by them. Brooke is sponsored by Veg. I'm now also working with Sun Warrior a little bit on the side for some things that I can't find elsewhere. So, like, if you guys need a link, message one of us, support us, use our code, save a little bit of money on your order. But, like, we're not doing this for them. I haven't even said which place to go get vitamin D from. But if you guys need help, reach out to us. We'll help you there. But vitamin D is my first one, top one. That's like if I was only allowed to take one supplement until I died, that'd probably be it because that'd keep me alive the longest. Brooke, number
Good
two.
one. So since we're going in importance of health, I'm going to choose magnesium. And I know a lot of people automatically think sleep when they hear magnesium, which magnesium is very beneficial for sleep. But a lot of people don't realize that, fun fact, magnesium is actually involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. So it is super, super important. It helps convert your food to energy. It helps regulate your heart function and blood pressure. It helps lower blood glucose levels. It's involved in making bone, protein, and DNA. And it's also really beneficial for digestive health. So that's actually how I stumbled upon supplementing magnesium, is when I had my digestive issues. Um, Magnesium was life saving because it actually pulls water into your GI tract, so you're able to like go to the bathroom easier. So there's just so many different health benefits to magnesium, and it's one of those things that, like, you really can't go overboard with it. And there are several different types of magnesium, so it really just depends on what you're taking it for. So you want to look into the different ones. But if we're just going off of like general health, I would say that would definitely be in like my top 3.
Hell yeah, that's funny. I take it every day, and I forgot to include it in the list. That's why I do this with you, because anywhere that one of us falls short, the other one always picks it up. Do you have a dosing recommendation for magnesium, like in milligrams per day, or what do you personally do?
I think people should just start with like 200 milligrams and see if that does the trick. I mean, I do like 600 milligrams a day, but that's what works for me. Now, some people, that may be too much for you. You may be going to the bathroom too much. So
Mhm.
just figure out what works for you. I think 200 is like a good place to start.
Hell yeah, we are so in sync. I was going to say 200 to 600. Probably start on the lower side, work your way up. I like to take it about an hour before bed. It calms me
Yep,
down.
me too.
It's also an electrolyte. So if you ever
Yes.
take an electrolyte blend, look at it. If it doesn't have at least some magnesium, it's probably not a good product. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. As far as the actual types, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Magnesium oxide is not good. It's like if you go to Walgreens and get the cheapest one, they'll have that on the shelf, but it doesn't absorb very well. So I believe magnesium glycinate is a strong one to get.
Yep.
Um, and there might be like a chelated magnesium out there as well, but those would be top ones that I can think of off the top of my head. If not, I could pull
Yeah.
some
There's
links.
magnesium citrate as well. That's the one that's commonly used for sleep. So I know a lot of people love that calm supplement. They sell like a huge thing of it at Costco and Sam's. That is magnesium citrate. And it's kind of like a step above magnesium oxide. But it
Mhm.
is like kind of a little bit on the cheaper side. So I would say the glycinate is probably the best way to go. But yeah, I mean they all are kind of a little bit different. So I would look into it, based off what you need. But yeah, magnesium is awesome.
Heck yeah. Um, I actually pulled out some supplements while we were getting set up for this so I could turn and look. I just sticking to like what I offer clients. I do also think vitamin K, vitamin
Yes.
K2 is definitely really important to get. And there is a specific form, I believe it is MK7 is the specific form. This does a few things. One, take it when you take your D3. It will help you absorb that better. And two, if you're on the darker side of the journey, or if you just value heart health, it helps to decalcify your arteries. And basically, what that means in layman's terms is it prevents your arteries from getting as stiff, leading to strokes, blood clots, heart attacks. So, another good one, I think it's 100 micrograms of that one per day. This is going off the top of my head, but I think that's about where I would put most people for that. You're not going to see crazy gains in the gym, just might live a couple years longer. So why not?
Exactly. So that was your second one?
Yeah, that was my second
Okay.
one. Bring us to number
Okay.
3, and then you'll do number 4.
Okay, so for number 4, and we're keeping health in mind, I would say zinc. And zinc, I think, is a little bit underrated, and it's also one of those things that may be a little bit more challenging to get on a vegan diet. Now avocado does have zinc, and I'm trying to think of some other food sources, but we're talking about supplements, so that doesn't matter anyways. But zinc is found so who cares? Zinc is found in cells all throughout our body, and it helps our immune system fight off, invading bacteria and viruses. And it's also like magnesium used to make DNA and proteins. And I specifically mentioned zinc because it's so important for the gut lining. Like it is absolutely essential for gut lining. So zinc deficiency is linked to leaky gut, which is like basically where your gut barrier is a little bit weak and stuff can start to slide through and cause an immune response. And then, you have inflammation and all sorts of issues. So zinc, I think, is really, really good to incorporate. Most multivitamins have zinc. So just check and see. You don't need to like pile it on top because you can do too much zinc and then have a toxicity. But I think if you're, anywhere between like 20 um, milligrams to 50 milligrams, that's kind of a good spot to hang out.
Man, in sync. I know I have no way of proving it, but I was going to say 20 to 50 a day is like where you want to be. You are correct that it can be found in other things. I think it's found in some nuts. I could be conflating that
I
with
think so too.
selenium, but yeah, zinc is good. And from the for the men out there, if you have great normal healthy testosterone, taking extra zinc is not going to do anything. But if you're missing out on zinc, your body's not going to be able to produce testosterone as optimally or efficiently. So this has been shown in people that are zinc deficient. Once you add it back in, their testosterone levels do increase. So definitely want to pad your
Interesting.
baseline. Hmm.
I wonder
Hmm.
if it's the same with women, if it increases women's testosterone.
I don't know. I know this was
Hmm.
back in my time of
Look at it.
pre-coaching when I was looking just for myself. But yeah, I believe I don't know why I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it makes sense.
Granted, yeah.
And this is a good time, I think, to mention, like, as we're going through all these things and all you realize all these nutrients have different functions in your body. So, I mean, that's why it is really important to make sure, like people always say a calorie is a calorie, but not always. Like you want to make sure that you're eating healthy foods and, you are taking the right supplements if you need to. Like if you're in a big deficit and you can't eat all those foods, make sure you're supplementing because it's like you're saying, like one thing, it's a chain reaction of other things. So if you're deficient in zinc, like you could have more issues than just leaky gut. You could have low testosterone or, whatever, all sorts of different issues. So that's the important of staying on top of this stuff.
Heck yeah. Zinc, zinc, zinc. I think that was all I had there. I will put in a disclaimer here. Like for most of these, at least for like vitamin D and for some of the others that we're going to talk about, you can get your bloods pulled. You can get your blood work done and find out exactly what you're deficient in or exactly what you need more in. And that's the best way to do it because otherwise you don't really know. I'm not a I'm not against multivitamins. But I just think most multivitamins are underdosed, or they
100%.
might be made with the inferior, like magnesium oxide would be in a multivitamin. In most, not all, but most. Another good one. Shit, I'll go with this for number 5. Vitamin B12, because some people are deficient in this. Some vegans are deficient in this, but I've never I've never had blood work done where I've been supplementing B12 that I can recall. Like, I used to take it when I was younger because everybody told me I had to. And then I had blood work come back where it was high. I was
Yep.
like, okay, I'll just cut it out. And it's always been very solid. Now, I do have soy milk, and I think they add some B12 to that. I do have some pre-workouts that add some B12. So I pick it up here and there, but I've never had to supplement with it directly. The whole reason I brought that up for number 5 was also back to your multivitamins. You can look and see what type of B12 they add. There's 2 common ones. There's a cyano, which means it's like from, I think, from algae. Cyanocobalamin, I believe is
Yep.
how you say it. That's basically what it looked like. And there's a methylated form, methylcobalamin. The methylated form is the more expensive, better absorbing, higher quality one. If you're going to take B12 by itself, make sure on the ingredients where it says vitamin B12, in parentheses, it'll say methylcobalamin. You want the methylated version. So if you're looking at your multivitamin, it doesn't even have the methylated version, probably got a cheap, crappy multivitamin. So for B12, I don't even know the dosing. It can go pretty high because it's
Yeah.
a water soluble vitamin, which basically means if your body gets too much, you'll pee it out. You might see some neon yellow in the toilet, but you're not in pain, you're not dying, you're not hurting yourself. Your body can't store too much of it. Whereas like vitamin D is fat soluble. So back to that, make sure you take your D and your K with fats, otherwise they won't absorb. But with B12, it's water soluble, so you can't get too much. I want to say 5,000 IU might be like a middle of the road dose, middle high. Um,
I think that's a
Probably
high
don't need
dose. But
high dose.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, like with the B12, I don't even supplement B12 either because it's just like, it's just in everything. Like, oh, there's so many foods that are fortified with B12 now. So it's so funny to me that people always think vegans are going to be deficient in B12. And it's like, it's in literally everything. Like you said, energy drinks, nutritional yeast is a great source of
Oh, yeah.
B12, you know, so like most of us are getting plenty of B12 where you don't have to take it every day. And like you, I was taking it every single day and mine came back too high. So I actually dropped mine and I just take it once a week and
Yeah.
we're fine. And really the only reason that meat eaters have B12 is because the animals supplement with B12. So that's how they're getting a secondary source of B12. So another huge misconception that people don't really know those like nitty-gritty details.
Yeah, Brooke, I just want to stay natural. So I'm going to eat these steaks that are injected with hormones and their feed has B12 added to it. So I'm still getting my B12 from the meat. Me being sarcastic again. Yes, it's not natural to get your B12 from animals. It's just that they're eating feed on the feedlots that the feed is supplemented with B12. We all used to get it from the dirt and from the soil, but humans have been so great at destroying the world that there's no longer B12 in the soil. So we got to find it and make it other ways. Yeah. All right. So number 5
A
was
great
B12.
way, also just quick funny story. Like you said, it is water soluble, so you will pee it out and it actually makes your pee yellow, which I'm sure you probably know. So fun way if you need to pass a drug test
Ah,
is there's like this God, what was that stuff called? I think it was literally called like I don't know. It was like Jello or something, but it's basically stuff that you make jams. Do you know what or cello or something like that? It's stuff you make like jams and like jelly with at home. Like it's what
uh-huh.
makes the thickness. And anyways, you mix that with a Gatorade and you drink the whole thing 4 hours before your piss test. Take a vitamin B12 so your pee looks yellow, not clear, like you've been diluting it,
Mhm.
and you should pass because I passed a drug test at LabCorp that way, even though I smoked the day before.
Oh, good Lord. Our country. Yeah, you can't smoke weed because you're going to be a horrible person, but you can go drink and then do all sorts of horrible things.
Right.
Um, we need a whole separate podcast for that. Plant medicine. There's so much to be had from plants. Okay, reeling us back in because we are on a time crunch today. All right, B12 is 5. What do you got for 6? Anything else health?
All right. I'll throw in L-glutamine for this one. You know, because L-glutamine can be a performance supplement, but also I think a health supplement. I had never taken L-glutamine until I had my digestive issues, and um L-glutamine is awesome for your gut lining. Again, like zinc, it is helps you rebuild and repair your gut, and it also promotes healthy gut flora. Also can help prevent atrophy, muscle atrophy, helps the immune system as well. So tons of benefits to L-glutamine. It's basically just an amino acid. And I do 5 grams a day on an empty stomach. Mix that with a little bit of aloe vera and lemon juice.
Mhm.
And it's not the best thing in the world. It doesn't taste great, so don't be expecting a yummy, delicious cocktail in the morning. But it is super healthy, and you will experience a lot of good benefits from it.
Hell yeah. Actually, again, filling in the gaps. I was going to forget that one. That is a good one to add. When I was younger, in my younger years, I'm like talking like 15. So, like, God, 16 years ago, I would drink glutamine because I was like, oh, this is going to help me grow and get so much bigger. But yeah, Brooke already explained. Like, it's not so much. It is an amino acid, so yes, it could be used towards building up muscle through protein, but it's also very prevalent in like protein powders or protein in general. So you get a lot of this amino acid through food. But when you take amino acids by themselves, they act on the body in different ways. And glutamine, as Brooke said, helps heal your gut. I personally do 15 grams in the morning with my morning health drink. I put that on my YouTube. I use glutamine, I use apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, aloe vera juice, and inositol, which is another B vitamin. And all of those help get me ready for the onslaught of calories I'm about to put my body through each day. I even put some in my intra workout drink because I think it helps with my digestion for my intra workout because I'm getting some carbs there. Um, I forget where I was going with this, but yes, glutamine, anywhere from I think 5 to 15 grams at a time would be a sufficient amount. Yeah, doesn't taste good, but it works. So why not?
Yep.
Okay, so that's 6. Staying in that health and performance range. All right, I'm gonna have to steal this one. So we just talked about it, but creatine. Creatine is something, whether you're vegan or not, I'm gonna highly recommend. I tell my clients, well, I tell them exactly how much to take, but the rule of thumb that I use is about 3 grams of creatine for every 100 pounds of body weight. So if you're like a 100-pound girl, not very big, but you're lifting, 3 grams is probably plenty for you. 200-pound guy, you could probably get away with 6. You're like a 300-pound linebacker, we could do 9 or 10 grams a day. It's not going to kill you. As far as timing is considered, I don't think the timing. I've never personally noticed a very big difference. I usually will do it intra workout on my days off. I'll do it in the morning. I personally do like 6 to 8 grams a day on average. Is probably where I'm at. Like sometimes my pre workout has some in it, so like that'll give me a little bit extra, but I'm not really tracking that. There's no need to cycle on or off. There's no need to load. I've taken creatine every day for at least the last decade. What else am I missing here? Oh, you can get some of it through meat, but not enough to be at optimal performance levels. So some of my clients that do want to eat meat, they're still going to get supplemented with creatine because it works. It helps with short duration, explosive movements. So like a bench press or like 10 to 12 rep range, somewhere in there is going to be great. If you're a marathon runner, not going to do as much for you there from the physical side, but back to the health side, it's been shown to help with neurodegenerative disorders. That's a big word, like Alzheimer's, dementia, me because I can't remember shit. It helps with that. At least it's been shown to. I've even seen some recent studies saying that it may help with fat loss. That may be indirect. Maybe it helps you build more muscle, so it's easier to burn fat when you're in a deficit. But still, like all of these reasons, and it's dirt cheap. No reason not to take it. So I think that was 7. No, 6.
I
Oh
think we're
man.
on 7. I have a lost count.
So if I started, I'm odds. So 7. And now you can add anything
Okay.
you want to creatine, and then we'll go to 8.
I think
Uh,
you pretty much covered creatine. I would say a lot of women worry about water retention. You know, that's the big thing. Oh, well, I don't want to be bloated. Look, as long as you guys are getting enough water, then, and same thing with your kidneys. Like, as long as you guys are getting enough water, then you're fine. But yeah, like I had a client the other day put in her check-in that she was drinking like 32 ounces of water a day. And I'm like, that is certainly not enough. So yeah, if you are consuming creatine, you do need to make sure that you're getting enough water. But you know, mostly it's going to fill out your muscles. It's not going to make you look bloated and puffy. So it's, and the benefits far outweigh a little bit of an uptick in the scale. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Who cares what the scale says? If you're looking more jacked, that's what we want to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was there was like some concern over creatine a long time ago. Back when I first started using it, this kid had died over the summer. This wrestler, he died while taking creatine. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's the creatine!" They're like, "Really, dude? This kid didn't drink water for 2 days, and he was running outside in a trash bag because he was trying to make weight." I think high school wrestling is probably one of the least healthy sports in the world because you got kids trying to go through puberty, also starving themselves and not drinking water and
Oh,
training. I remember we had 3-hour wrestling practices, and by the end, we had 2 to 3 minute water breaks. That was it. Like they would expect us to go for 3 hours, hard training, sweating our asses off, and like you get 2 minutes to run to a water fountain. So, anyways, everybody looked at it like, "Oh my god, he was taking creatine and he died." It's like, yeah, he was, but he also wasn't drinking water, and that's what you need to live is water. So,
mm,
people like to just sensationalize things and fearmonger, but
yeah.
creatine's safe. Most studied supplement out there, more study than probably everything else on this list combined. So, at least as far as performance goes. So that was 7 creatine. I'm gonna hand it off to you. 8. We're kind of in that performance slash health arena now. Probably
Okay.
where everybody's be interested.
Um, you know, I would say, okay, so I'll say electrolytes. And I guess that kind of includes magnesium, potassium, and sodium. But electrolytes are so, I think, underrated for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people get freaked out because of the sodium, right? And you know, sodium is not necessarily something that you guys need to worry about unless you have terrible high blood pressure and you're on medication for it. Like sodium is a crucial nutrient for our body. I get so tired of people who are doing no salt for absolutely no reason. Like they're perfectly healthy people, but they're avoiding salt. Like you need sodium for every single muscle contraction. So if you get a cramp in the gym, and we all know how much that sucks, and that can take you out, you probably need some electrolytes. You probably need some sodium, and that will kill that. So I mean, you guys will notice a huge difference training with electrolytes versus not training with electrolytes. If you're an active individual, you're actively deplenishing. I think that's a word. I don't know if that's a word. I know replenishing is a word, so the opposite of oh boy, we
Depleting?
this is a interesting one today. Okay, anyways, but yeah, so you're actively losing electrolytes if you're an active person. So it's important to replenish those and don't be afraid of the sodium. It's an important nutrient, especially for active individuals.
I agree 100%. Salt has been demonized in the same way that fat was demonized, in the same way that carbs were demonized. And there's still a ton of misinformation out there that people just have no idea of. And then conversely, everybody thinks sea salt is like so super healthy. Like it's not a
Ugh,
fucking miracle drug. It's not
seriously.
bad, but you know, a lot of people need iodine as well. So just use regular table salt that has iodine as well. Anyways, that's a
Yes.
whole other tangent. But yeah, sodium, I put it in all of my clients' intra workout drinks. And I think that's one of the biggest game changers of working with a coach and like trying something like with me at least. That's like probably out of all the things I get feedback on, they're like, "Oh my god, my workouts changed overnight." And it's like, "Yeah, you didn't have enough salt in you."
Yeah.
I based on body weight, I put anybody between 1 to 2 grams while they're training, and like grams of salt. That's 1,000 milligrams. Most people look at like a frozen dinner, and they're like, "Oh my god, 700 milligrams of sodium." It's like it's not that much, dude. It's really
Yeah.
not that much, especially if you're sweating and you're working. So yeah, electrolyte mixes have kind of hit a surge in the supplement community. You know, you can buy them, I'm sure. I know True Nutrition Carry One's Veg probably has one as well. If not, you can find them elsewhere. But like, look and make sure they actually have, if it's an electrolyte blend, a decent amount of sodium, like up to 1,000 milligrams a scoop, a decent amount of potassium, 200 to 400 milligrams a scoop. They'll usually include sodium, potassium, magnesium a little bit, and even maybe some calcium because all of those are electrolytes, as Brooke was saying. Electrolytes do two things for us in the gym. They prevent cramps. They also facilitate muscle contractions, the correct ones. You want to get a better pump, include sodium. So who doesn't want a better pump?
And
Um,
just to hit off what I wanted to quickly mention the iodine too, because you brought that up. And that was actually iodine was on my list
mhm.
because so many people neglect iodine and it drives me crazy. And this was something actually my first bodybuilding coach, he only had me use pink salt and huge mistake, huge mistake. So and I see this all the time with women. So I have a client who has used nothing but pink Himalayan salt for probably 2 years, all sorts of thyroid issues. And that's exactly what happened to me. I had a ton of thyroid issues because I only used pink salt for God knows how long, over a year. So, yeah, like John said, iodine is so important. Like, I'm so tired of people demonizing table salt, like, and then they're missing out on an important nutrient. So, again, it's like where I love social media. It is sometimes a wealth of knowledge, but it is also a wealth of BS out there, because it's just like, yes, I mean, there are certain concerns with having too much table salt, but iodine is so important and you will not have a healthy thyroid without it. And if you don't have a healthy thyroid, good luck losing weight.
Yeah, it's funny how our government, in its um, infinite wisdom, was like, everybody needs salt. Everybody's going to eat salt every day. So we're just going to force manufacturers of salt to include iodine to make sure everybody's healthy and gets iodine. And then 50 years later, social media is like, salt is horrible. And all these campaigns against salt. And now we have these issues. So, like Brooke said, yeah, like sea salt's good for you. I have most of my clients use sea salt on all of their meals, but at least one meal per day has iodized salt. Then you'll have it. You can take iodine by itself as well. Either
Yeah.
works. For people that are concerned about their blood pressure, 99% of the population, if you have blood pressure issues, it is something you can fix yourself. It's either diet, lifestyle, or probably a combination of the two. If you genetically have high blood pressure, you may need to be more careful with the amount of salt that you use, but you probably know more than us about your own body at this point in time. For the 99%, unless you genetically have it, and I don't mean genetically like my whole family has it, but my whole family's fat, my whole family doesn't work out. I mean, it like runs linearly. You're, yeah, in shape, whatever, and still high, then that's different. But for the 99% listening to this, it's totally fine. All right, so that was electrolytes,
Eight.
sodium, iodine, 8, 9, still kind of in that performance slash health range. If you're on a high protein diet, one that is kind of like a little secret of mine, and you're having digestive issues, either excessive gas or bloating, and it's probably not like, oh, TVP doesn't work for me, I can't ever eat it, like I need to eat something else. It's just that your total food volume's high. Betaine HCl, I take 1 cap of that a day from the Now brand. No, 1 cap per meal, actually, like any high protein meal. Take that, and it seems to help produce more stomach acid to break down that protein. So that's one that I recommend. Betaine HCl. I never had heard of this until I started working with my current coach, and he's really big on digestion. Go figure. You want to be a 250 plus pound bodybuilder, you might need to digest all of that food you're eating. So,
Oh,
have
yeah.
you used it before, Bro?
Yes, I had low stomach acid when I had SIBO, because my good bacteria that helped produce my stomach acid was really, really low. So I had to take that. So yeah, it can be very beneficial. And honestly, most vegans, we do have a lower amount of stomach acid because we don't have to break down animal products and dairy products that are highly acidic. So we just have a more alkalized system. So really, it is a really good supplement. The only reason that you would want to like maybe stay away from it is if you have acid reflux or something like that, if you have too much of that going on, but that's a whole nother issue, and you
Yeah.
need to look into that because there's definitely, something's causing that.
That actually makes insights here. I love how I can learn just from talking to you. A lot of people that come to work with me that want to become vegan bodybuilders, they've already been vegan for a while. So their protein intakes are typically lower. But when we want to be a vegan bodybuilder, I push your protein up to what a conventional bodybuilder would use. So if you're used to a more alkalized diet, adding all that protein on top, even if it's vegan protein, probably a little bit of a lag there in your body's ability to digest it. So that's why this works great. Awesome. I'm learning. I knew it worked. Now I know why it works.
Yeah.
All right. So that's 9 betaine HCl. What do we got for 10?
Okay, for 10, I think I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with you know what? I'm gonna go with essential amino acids, EAAs. I just love EAAs because for me, if I don't want to have to worry about like the complete proteins that I'm getting throughout the day, or if like let's say I'm traveling and I don't have complete 100% control over my food, I really like supplementing with EAAs. And I also want to make it clear EAAs are better than BCAAs. BCAAs are only a portion of all 9 of the essential amino acids. And typically, BCAAs are going to be the same damn price as EAAs. So you might as well just buy the essential amino acids, which are all 9, instead of, kind of wasting your money. So I would just say, yeah, EAAs, and I usually drink those intra workout. It just helps you cover all your bases because we don't always have complete proteins, and it just makes sure it just makes sure that you're getting all of those amino acids in.
Agreed. Essential amino acids are highly digestible. Like they're pretty much already broken down. Your body doesn't have to do any work to digest them. So while you're training, ideal time to take them. Otherwise, might as well just drink a protein shake, get all your amino
Yeah.
acids that way. However, I like to keep like a little baggie with me in my car, another one in my gym bag of just essential amino acids. Maybe, I don't know, this never happens, but let's say I forget my post workout shake and I'm going to go out and eat something that's not super high protein. I don't know, pretzels. Well, if I got my EAAs, there I go. I can still have a fully protein complete meal. Not that I'm super worried about the completeness of proteins throughout the individual meals in a day, but at that meal I'm covered, and it's super easy to bring that with me and just add it to my water. Yeah, and then yeah, BCAAs, don't get them. If you've got them already, use them up, but like you don't have to throw them away. But BCAAs, in the shortest, easiest way, they turn on muscle protein synthesis, or at least signal the body to do so. But what good is like turning on your car if you got no gas in the tank? With EAAs, you got all the gas you need to do what you're trying to do, which is build muscle. So it not only turns on muscle protein synthesis, it gives the fuel needed to do so. So yeah, great. Literally one of the ones I set on my counter. So we're right in alignment there.
Yeah, and again, I think that's one of those things I just want to make sure for people it's not necessary. Like you don't have to have EAAs to build muscle and to be successful, in a fitness journey, but I think it kind of helps people who don't want to obsess over their food. And like you said, in those crunch times, like you want to go out to dinner, but there's not something high in protein, or like when you're traveling and you just have to eat out, and the protein options for vegans eating out are shit. You just bring your EAAs with you, and that makes it really easy. So, you can get your essential amino acids from your food. Me personally, I don't want to have to obsess over how many grams of L-leucine I'm getting, and I don't want to have to do that. So I just take my essential amino acids and I'm good.
Yeah, I would say so far this list has been in order of most to least important.
Yeah.
So if you've already ordered everything and take everything before the essentials and you're ready for the next step, that would be the next step. Don't go buy EAAs because they help build muscle, but neglect your vitamin D and neglect creatine and neglect other things that are beneficial for your health too. So EAAs are great. And on that note, I'll go to number 11, HBCDs, highly branched cyclic dextrin, or any other carb source that you can digest well while training. So I love highly branched cyclic dextrin. It's very, very easy on your stomach. You would think Gatorade is easy, but like when I'm taking 50 grams of carbs on a training day, intra workout, Gatorade will sometimes bother my stomach, but HBCDs, highly branched cyclic dextrin, does not. That also goes in with my EAAs. I mix it and my glutamine and my creatine. All that happens at the same time while I'm training. And my electrolytes. Wow, all of them. But you can get away with dextrose powder or Gatorade powder if you need to in a pinch. Or me the other day, actually me on this trip, I did not bring enough. I forgot I was training on an additional day. So I'm going to go grab some coconut water. That'll give me some of the electrolytes and it will give me some carbs, and it digests while I'm training. It's just way more expensive, so I usually go highly branched cyclic dextrin. But that would be number 11 for me, more for performance. This is not for health at all. This is just for taking your performance to the next level, having some carbs while you're training.
Nice. Yeah, I love that stuff. I just have like poverty carbs, so I'm not wasting any right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Be like me and get 580 carbs a day, unless it's your high day where you get 800.
It's
Yeah.
insane. All right,
Yeah.
should I add one more and then we do our listener question?
Yeah. That put us at 12. Top 12 vegans who lift
Okay.
supplements at the time.
This one's not necessarily performance, but it is very important. And I think something that a lot of vegans don't think about is your omegas, your omega 3s. So this is more of like a health one. But omegas are really important for like your cell membranes, and they support the interactions between cells. And they're mostly taken for reducing inflammation. So I know a lot of people focus on flaxseed and flaxseed oil. So that's a really good source for vegan omegas. But I supplement with vegan omegas because I just don't have the calories for flaxseed oil. I'm not going to waste 120 calories like that. So I just take them in a little capsule and they are from flaxseed. Again, omegas are something that's really important if you want a healthy, balanced body. So, again, it's kind of like one of those things where I can kind of understand where people are like, you can't get everything you need from a vegan diet because you can neglect a lot of these things if you just mindlessly eat a bunch of vegan junk food for sure. But if you have a well structured, properly balanced vegan diet, you can hit all of these markers or supplement if you need to.
Yeah. So I really respect people that like maybe they have a strong opinion and then they change it because they actually did more research and they came to a better conclusion. So I really respect myself here because for like the last decade, I thought fish oil and omega 3s and all that was way overblown. Upon doing some more deep diving and trying to get out of the supplementing side of things, looking at the omega 3s from like algal oil, like algae oil,
Yeah.
there are, like you said, brain health, heart health, muscle protein synthesis, all these reasons that omegas are actually omega 3s is specifically really important. And you can get some from flax, but like Brooke said, it comes with a calorie cost. I put from almost all my clients, I put some flaxseed in, but also this is like the insurance is this omega. So if you've already got the other 11 things on the list, I get mine from Sun Warrior. I think Veg has some as well. So like you can DM
Yeah.
me or Brooke for codes or links, but if you got everything else, this is another one, and I think even more so for health. So it's
Yes.
something I personally take, and I just set on the counter so I wouldn't forget it. But you have the last one, and you mentioned it. So you rock. This has been very in sync. Okay, all right. 12 top supplements of all time. Let's do the listener question, and then we got stuff to do.
Let's
So
see. Is it going to
I did
play?
not give
When you're
Sean.
on a prep and you are having a bad week, you have a stressful week, and you start to fall off, maybe you fall off your diet or you fall off on your workouts, what are some things you do or some foods that you eat to help you get back on track?
Good
That's a great,
question. And
great
thank you,
question.
Justin.
Yeah, I was about to say, great question from a great person, Justin, aka Moonman Fitness, one of our academy graduates, and just an all-around freaking awesome guy. So, do you have any immediate thoughts there, Brooke, to his question?
Immediate thoughts. I rarely mess up my training or my cardio or my activity or steps. I don't really deviate there, but I do sometimes struggle with food. So I did fuck up my diet this weekend and I had too many rice cakes. Which is not the worst thing in the world, but it has its repercussions. Honestly, I just own it. I just own it in my check-in. I have that layer of accountability there and I tell my coach, hey, I had some extra rice cakes this weekend. I just caved and I had to have a few. I was really hungry. And I just go about it, the same way. I just get right back to it. The next day I did everything I normally would. I did my cardio. I didn't increase my cardio. I didn't lower my calories. I didn't do anything extra. You could do that, but for me personally, it's just like, all right, let me just give 100% to the plan today and execute 100% today and just get right back to it. So yeah, I mean, that's really all I do. I just get right back to the plan.
I agree 100%. This is where the psychological impact is as strong, if not stronger, than the physiological impact of the cheat. So for me, I'm like you. In all of my prep, I never missed my steps, not one day. Even on the day I got surgery, even the day my dad died, even the day I broke up with my ex, like still got my steps. Steps are easy. Well, Brooke
Yeah.
had a lot more steps than me, but like it, you can get your steps. I didn't miss a single cardio session, didn't miss a single training session. And actually, in my entire prep, I did not eat off once. However, as soon as that goal of prep was gone, I had some food issues. I had some big food issues. I was binge eating at least once a week, it seemed, for a while. And what I tell my clients and what I tell myself is, I don't hate you. It's okay to an extent. Let's do better and get back on your plan. Don't go kill yourself the next day and run 3 miles or 3 miles, 3 marathons. Like, don't go 3 hours of running. Like, don't try to work it off. Don't. I get clients all the time. Hey man, I went over my calories today. I think just tomorrow I'm not going to eat.
Yeah.
That sets you up for a mental fuckery to get you into this vicious cycle of binging and purging, trying to always fix the last mistake you made, and you work so hard to fix it that you go make the next mistake. And it's a very dangerous road to go down. So, like Brooke said, just back on your plan, get back 100%. And people are like, well, can I do extra cardio? And I'm like, no, just get back on your plan. For me, like recently, like I really probably ate more than I should have the other night, and I'm by the beach. I wanted to go walk anyways to kind of like settle my stomach. So it's not a punishment. It's more of like, I could put this food to a little bit of use, but it's not the same as like going to the gym and getting on the stairs and like, I'm going to work this off.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, you're
so
not going to
yeah.
punish yourself. Like don't punish yourself. And I used to live that cycle too. And my last coach, my first coach, he kind of perpetuated that cycle. Like if you were honest in your check-in and you were like, "Hey, I had a little bit extra Cheerios." Like I would have to go do an extra 20 minutes of stairs. It was awful. So I am lucky now that I have a really good coach who, like, he just said on my check-in, he's like, "Well, we probably would have dropped this week, but it's fine. Like let's just get back to it, and you'll be fine. You'll drop this week. Not a big deal." So I think, it's like you said, you kind of have to take that morality out of it, and like that sense of self-worth. We all make mistakes. The top athletes, like when I used to work out at a gym, like you work out with tons of IFBB pros. I knew an IFBB pro who ate an entire Costco jar of cashews, and she had to go to the hospital because of all the fat. Yeah, it was an insane story. But like, people make mistakes. We're only human. We have hormones that talk to us when we get really hungry. So that also helps me to know the physiological component that's going on. So I just don't say, you're bad, you're not disciplined, like you're not good enough. No, there's also physiological things going on. But if you just leave it at that one day, like honestly, like me having like 4 rice cakes isn't really a big deal. If I had gone off the deep end and been like, well, I had 4 rice cakes, I might as well eat Oreos and then also have a brownie and then just screw it, who cares? Then I would have been in a really bad spot. So just leave it in the past, move forward, get back to your plan, and just, learn from it and do better.
And you know what? Last thing, and then I'll shut up. If you're doing something hard, really, truly hard, probably going to make some mistakes along the way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody that has that doesn't follow a diet at all ever has that moment where they're like, well, I had 4 rice cakes over. It's like, well, you were eating Twinkies and 2 liters of soda all day anyways. Like, nobody cares about 4 rice cakes. Like, if you're a locked in competitor, shit happens. If you're doing hard work, shit sometimes happens. So, Justin, anybody else listening, don't beat yourself up over the small stuff. Get back on plan. Don't create that binge and purge cycle. That's all I got. I know you got to run, Brooke. I gotta go get a meal because I'm about to go train.
I know. I'm training late today, like you are. I'm not used to it, so I gotta fuel up too.
What are you gonna have?
I had a savory breakfast this morning, so now I'm actually gonna have my protein cream of rice.
Oh, we are such twins today. I'm gonna have protein cream of rice as well. I think I'm gonna add powdered peanut butter and strawberries to make it kind of like peanut butter and jelly rice, cream of rice.
Yum. I
All
love
right.
it. I could eat breakfast all day.
For real. Literally, breakfast is my favorite food. So, favorite food group. All right. Well, I know you gotta go. I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Justin, you rock, dude. Please, guys, send us your questions. We are here to answer them. We already got a few lined up. We might just do a whole episode about it, but we'd love to get some more. veganswholiftpodcast.com. Click the little button on there. It lets you record right on the website, and then we get to read it here. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Tune in to the next one. Send it to all your friends. John and Brooke out. Catch y'all next time.